represent us, the constituents.
Yes, ma'am.
But I was a bit shocked the last time this came up, in that I think I gave every one of you one, didn't I?
Did, yes, ma'am.
Petition, 249 signatures. I live at 2nd Street off of 129, so the flood was all around us. It just happens we were a little high. But anyway, I walked all those streets and talked to all the constituents and, up and down those streets and got their signatures. What I was surprised to find out that a lot of people already knew what fluoride could do to you and damage you. And we just kept on pushing and trying to get this thing done. We came up here, we all talked about it. In fact, like I said, 249 signatures. 10 people came up opposing the fluoride in the water. One man come up, Mr. Johnson, I don't know what he is, a lobbyist or whatever he is for this problem, to keep fluoride in the water. He didn't show up to the next one, but Karen Waldron did. He came up and talked. 10 people opposed it, and yet and still, we got fluoride in the water. And I would like to see, he covered it pretty well. I don't have to get into all that. We've studied it. I got one behind me that knows more than I do about what all the damage is. But it's something that's kind of troubled us for is that with all the work that we did and how we were supported in this thing, and then we come up before our council. Slow it down.
Thank you, Ms. Pruitt. All right, Ms. Tomazon.
Got handouts. My name is Linda Palmisano, and I first got interested in fluoride in 2012 when I was diagnosed with a hypothyroid condition. And it turned out for me that fluoride can have an adverse effect on the thyroid. It's well documented. I can send research studies, plenty of them. But I was told I'd have to take Synthroid for the rest of my life, and I really didn't want to do that. So I did the best I could to eliminate fluoride from my life. For me, that's also dental products. I've had no problem with my teeth in 12 years, and I have no problem with my thyroid, and I've never taken any pharmaceutical products. So I've become an avid researcher on this topic. The first page of the handout here is a University of Florida press release, where two of the lead researchers on this study are from the University of Florida. The study was done in California. There have been now a total of 10 NIH-funded U.S. National Institutes of Health funded studies that show that early exposure to fluoride, both in a child that's being carried by the mother and early life, like 6 months and more, especially if they're bottle fed with tap water, they're showing neurological damage to those children. Reduction in IQ, increases in ADHD, and this last study, this one here, showed markers of autism. And just for historical perspective, in 1970, autism was diagnosed as 1 in 10,000 children. That is now reported by the CDC to be 1 in 35. And the CDC has just put out a report that now 1 in 3 children are diagnosed with ADHD. So I would ask if you look over this press release. The next page is what Mr. Vince Smith was talking about. When you combine water chemicals, and Mr. Leah told me they use chlorine and not chloramine. But this right here at the bottom where I've done the pink highlighting, when you combine chlorine with hydrofluorosilicic acid or fluorosilicic acid, it's the same thing, what we use here in Live Oak. Lead concentrations went from 200 parts per billion to 900 parts per billion. It's well known, and I can send much more research on this. I did to Mr. Smith here when I knew he was interested in it, on how the fluoride leaches lead. The last one is from a man, it's an open letter to Congress from a man who worked for Occidental for 21 years, well, I want this council to understand that what's put in the water is not a naturally occurring chemical. It's a toxic waste product from the phosphate mining industry. It's highly acidic, corrosive. It's illegal to dump into any natural waterways, and instead we put it in our water system. It's contaminated with arsenic, lead, aluminum. He says radioactive things. So he's written a book. This is out of his book. I've just purchased the book in PDF. If anybody would like the whole book, I'll send it to them. But what municipalities do without really realizing it is they are offering a medical service, because there's no other reason for putting fluoride in the water except to achieve a medical result. And without
Never have my time.
You can finish your thought.
any examination of the person or, any understanding of what it might do to their body. So I think it's a great cost-saving measure to not put the chemical in, to free up Mr. Lee's men, protective equipment. It's very dangerous for the utility workers to handle. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Clipper.
For y'all, I'm gonna read it. I'm not gonna talk it because I get carried away. Moses Clipper, 14581 102nd Path, Live Oak. I did some looking too. I'm gonna cover some that's already been said. I apologize for that. But, I'm just gonna read this. So here we go. While fluoride in toothpaste is generally considered safe, there is a larger ongoing discussion of overall fluoride intake from water, food, mouthwashes, and other sources. This is important here for me. It's a good way out. The International Association of Oral Medicine and Toxicology, the acronym is IAOMT, which advocates against the use of added fluoride in water and products, lists the following health problems which is associated with fluoride consumption. Cardiovascular problems, including high blood pressure, cardiac insufficiency and myocardial damage, diabetes, low fertility rates, and early puberty in girls, osteoarthritis, TMJ disorder, bone cancer, immune system complications, lower IQ, cognitive defects, attention, ADHD, and neurological defects. Thyroid dysfunction, as the lady just attested to. In addition to leaching lead from water pipe, studies have found that fluorides increase the risk of lead poisoning by facilitating the uptake of lead into the blood and intensifying lead's effects on the body, including in the brain. Kids get plenty of fluoride for their teeth enamel if they brush with fluoride toothpaste at least twice a day for 2 minutes each brushing. Please push back against adding fluoride to the water. When it comes to the professional's advice and recommendation, unfortunately our medical society is influenced heavily by the CDC and the WHO, which anybody paying attention knows that they will not consistently act in our best interest, if anybody paying attention. Fluoride is the only thing added to water, as Ms. Palmisano mentioned, with the alleged intent to treat people instead of being added to the water to make it safe to drink. You know, it's not necessarily additive. It's proven. Again, we come up here the first time around with hours of research proving that it was not good for our kids to have. You know, us people over the hill, it ain't no matter problem. But developing minds and developing health, they shouldn't have it. And this is a moral issue, folks. It's not about, is it a cost-effective thing or nothing like that. This could potentially kill people. We don't need no dumbing down of our kids. You know, we need them going the other direction. Please do the right thing this time, please.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clipper. All right, that's the end of those comments. We'll go ahead and open it up to pleasure of the council.
First of all, do you all have any statistics locally, local stats?
Let's
Oh,
get a motion and we'll discuss.
okay, I was thought it was secure, but yeah.
I offer a motion that we discontinue fluoride.
All right, we have a motion
Second.
and a second. So we have a motion and a second now for discussion. I would like to just I'll start. Yes.
Just for the record, I want to make sure everybody received this letter from the Florida, I want to make sure every challenge that you received the letter from the Florida Hill Association. It's in your box, and we got email.
All right.
That's all I need to say.
So as far as discussion goes, you know, statistics in 2024, I could probably go online and find statistics that would support both positions. I really could. I believe that you can do that with just about anything that out there, any item out there. However, my personal opinion would be, as a voting member, is that I don't want anything forced upon me, so to speak. We can control safely how much we put into the water supply. However, what we don't control is the fact that, you know, there's a 7 or 8 pound infant versus a 27-pound toddler versus a 50-something pound young person, and so on and so forth, and you get big and old and fat like me. So we're all drinking the same amount, or maybe we're not, or, you know, we make that bottle if you're using city water. So different amounts. So, you know, I would prefer that I'm not regulated as far as how much additive that I give to a particular person. So that would just be my 2 cents, so to speak. Any further discussion?
Yeah, as you spoke about these statistics and finding anything, this information that was presented here and that you all listened to, there are no references. You have no references. I don't even know what year that this information was. I see this right here, but you always have in an abstract, you always have the study, and you always have the procedure that was used, and you have those things, which is not there. This other part is a letter. I just think that there should be, are any of you all physicians, or what title do you hold as being experts in this area as to present that fluoride is not needed? Yeah.
She's asking, so yes, ma'am.
So I have a bachelor's degree in computer science.
I have a bachelor's degree in biology.
And so I look at everything through the eyes of logic. I worked for my first 17 years of my career in the defense and high-tech industries. And it was, I am becoming an avid researcher. I have sent 4 emails to this council, well, the previous council body in June, and I always put my resource and all like that in a handout. I don't do that. I'll be glad to follow up with any questions anybody has at any time and give you links and references, the PubMed, and I do have where I got the PubMed is you can go to PubMed and look up the thing, the University of Florida. It's on their website. The release, I copied it right off their website. It's just May 2024. This one has just come out. So any question anybody has, I would be more than happy to answer.
Have we had any cases in Swanee?
Cases.
In Livo? Cases of brain problems with infants with brain development and the things that are pointed out in here, and what was it that we talked about? Do we have any cases that we have found that children in our city, children in Swanee, has been affected by fluoride treatment?
There haven't been any research studies done in the city of Live Oak. I can tell you that we have many children here with autism in Live Oak.
Autism can be caused by many different things.
I agree with that, but we're going. Our children are in a toxic environment now in so many different ways, and these toxins are. I mean, it is affecting them. And the 10 studies that I talked about, that they're all funded by the National Institutes of Health. I sent that to the previous council in June. I would be glad to resend anything anybody wants, any information. I document everything. There's 10 studies now that are in Canada, Mexico, and now in the U.S. that all show the same thing. When the child is in uterus or in early life, you know, they are showing that the higher, and these are at the same percentages that you would have in just normal water fluoridation, 0.7 points per million.
But we
But they're
don't,
showing decreases in IQ, increases in ADHD, and now increases in markers of autism.
I'm gonna ask this for just clarification. I think like I said earlier, I think we could go back and forth on staff.
I
or-
understand that, okay? I understand that, and I know you're really kind of like looking at time as what time has passed or whatever. But, I would like to know how it's affecting our children in this city, in this county. You know, you have people come up here with, you're saying like, oh, I don't want this thrown on me. I want to have choices in about what happens to me. But give me something, you know, a little bit more to go on as to incomplete studies. Give me something that occurs more locally, even in Florida. Talk to me about something that's relevant as to how many children in Florida has been affected. How many, what's the, if you can't give it to me, can't pinpoint it more to this city or what we're doing with the water.
All right.
Can I ask a question?
No, I think we're going to,
Mr. President,
yeah, we're gonna, pretty much, we've already had
Between the
this
board members.
discovery, and so now the discussion is simply board member related.
well, I agree with my counsel, I'm torn between two councils. Here, I made a motion, and still, we still haven't, after the other meeting we had, we still have not. Have we workshopped this already? Have we done a workshop on this? I don't think we have. I think last time it came up about the vote and all that. I'm gonna rescind my motion, and let's do a workshop, because I can agree with both councils. And things are out there, things are being said, but there's no documentation that we got a problem here. There might be a problem in Timbuktu somewhere. But I want to rescind, let's do more, and so we can make a sound decision. If we can get some experts here, y'all listening? All right, so we can get some experts here to do, this is a very strong, I agree with those who in disfavor of fluoride and all that. I agree all over. But let's do something that's going to be, give us an idea exactly what we're going to do and handle. If we can get more people here or some other facts here that will pinpoint some things, and this causes our children to have these problems, then let's do that. I'm going to rescind my motion.
Second, we need to rescind the second.
Right.
So, let's say, so if you rescind your motion, the second has to rescind their second,
Yes.
Yes, then you can go for a new motion.
and then we
Then
can
it
go.
opens the floor back up for a new motion.
So the motion was rescinded. Who seconded? Okay. Do you rescind your motion?
Second.
All right, so now we open the floor back up for a new motion, if there is such.
I make a motion, we remove fluoride from our work.
Okay, so we have a motion. We have a second. Ryan, what's second?
You can pass the gavel. Pass it.
But it doesn't get a second, doesn't it die?
It doesn't get a second, it dies.
If it doesn't get a second,
There we go.
he can pass the gavel.
It has died on no second.
That's not good.
We have a motion, no second, is that where we're at?
Right.
Yep.
Motion died.
The motion died.
All right, so the motion dies.
I said let's do a workshop,
We'll do a workshop.
and that way we can, and both parties need to be here, pros and cons, and let's go from there.
All right, if we have no further business, have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you for everybody for coming.